Based on your input, we have made some changes to the multi-switch. I will demonstrate these by using a test board, which replaces the splitter cables and shows you the response of the outputs. Some of you asked for the possibility of a short, medium, long and double click to select the outputs, which was not possible up until now. Now we've added a new select mode, Select Timed Click. Here, the select scan time determines the length of those clicks. I'll show you an example with a select scan time of 1 second. If you hold the input for less than 1 second, this is considered a short press and you operate output 1. If you hold the input longer than 1 second, but shorter than 2 seconds or the double of the select scan time, you operate output 2. If you hold the input longer than 2 seconds, you operate output 3. To operate output 4, you have to execute a double click within the select scan time. As you do not go through all the other outputs here, the double click can be considered as a shortcut to the device or function linked to output 4. Because we received a question for a version of our scan mode that works continuously, we've added the continuous scanning mode. The active outputs are scanned all the time at an interval depending on the select scan time. When the LED light of the desired output is on, close the input to activate it. Some said that the minimal quit time of 1 second was too long for someone with muscular dystrophy, for instance, and others wanted the possibility for a longer quit time than 25 seconds. So we've adjusted the ranges of both the quit and close time, and both now have maximum values of 60 seconds. It can be very interesting to work in lock mode, for instance when your output is a communication device. However, we received some questions. The first question is that if you break the lock, you activate the output once more, and this is not always desirable. To explain this, I'll first show you how it used to be. Up until now, whenever you wanted to break the lock, your output reacted, since the output was closed when your input was closed. In the new release, this is still possible, but we call it timed close now. To overcome this for some unwanted activation of the output, we now also have timed open, where the output is only closed when the input is released. Then some asked for an alternative way to break the lock. Sometimes when operating a device in lock mode, you operate it by holding the input closed for a longer period of time. Some said it would be useful to break the lock in a way that was not holding for longer than the quit time. As an alternative, we came up with the nudge method, where you break the lock if you hold the input for a period shorter than the quit time. The last question was why you couldn't use the close time when working in lock mode. I'll show you how it worked up until now. Let's say you have a close time of 1 second. If you held the input 200 milliseconds, then the output would only be closed for 200 milliseconds. Now, your output will be closed at least as long as the close time, so 1 second here. So if I hold only 200 milliseconds, the output will be closed for 1 second. If I hold longer than 1 second, but of course shorter than the quit time, which is 5 seconds here, the output will be closed longer. It is possible that you do not want this, and then we advise you to put the close time for that input at the minimum value. Then it works like before.